Hi folks, thought we'd give you another update again. It's been a busy couple weeks at our house. Although we weren't busy at work this week with a lot of folks enjoying vacation time, it's been a pretty busy week with my family. You see, my youngest son Parker auditioned for and got a part in a musical here in Bloomington. It's called Bye Birdie. And one of the unique things that I tend to do that irritates my family is link everything back to agriculture. They didn't think I could do it with Bye Birdie, but it's kind of funny because the story is of Conrad Birdie, an Elvis-like character who's being inducted into the Army back in the 50s. Well, as he's being inducted into the Army, it takes place in Sweet Apple, Ohio. But the main character really isn't the Birdie character, it's really Albert. And Albert is his manager who really doesn't want to be a manager, he wants to be an English teacher. And eventually at the end of the program, he goes to be an English teacher in Pumpkin Falls, Iowa. Well, Parker got the role of a character named Hugo Peabody. And Hugo Peabody is the boyfriend of a girl who gets selected to give Conrad Birdie one last kiss before he's inducted into the Army. Hugo Peabody gets pretty upset and he ends up getting drunk on milk for our Dairy Ag Mag. Now, this musical was released in 1961 starring Dick Van Dyke. Now, for those of you who don't know who Dick Van Dyke is, think of the Dick Van Dyke Show or Google him, but even some of our younger folks should know him from his 2006 movie, A Night at the Museum. It won him a Tony in 1961. Well, Dick Van Dyke's originally from Danville, like our famous Ag Lit coordinator, Susie Willard. Other major theatrical players include Jerry Van Dyke, Bobby Short, Donald O'Connor, and even Gene Hackman. You see, Dick Van Dyke was a friend of Gene Hackman's cousin growing up in Danville. So kind of a unique twist to the Illinois connections there. In 1944, Dick Van Dyke knew he was going to be drafted and he wanted to take his spot, so he decided to enroll in the Air Force. In the Air Force, when he was enlisting in the Air Force, he was underweight. He was underweight and he tried a couple times and he couldn't seem to gain the weight. Finally, before he joined the Air Force, someone encouraged him to go across the street, chug several milkshakes, which he did, causing him to gain enough weight to be allowed to be in the military. He joined the Air Force as a radio operator before being transferred into an entertainment section, entertaining the troops in the 1940s. As you know, Dick Van Dyke went on to have success on the stage and the screen. So here's a trivia contest for you. On our Facebook page, Ag in the Classroom, Illinois Ag in the Classroom's Facebook page, there's going to be a link to the Tony Awards. Anybody that can post a link to this year's musicals or new musical reviews and how they're connected to agriculture. It doesn't have to be as thick as I did with the Dick Van Dyke to milkshakes to ice cream to, July is National Ice Cream Month and we just finished June National Dairy Month. But if you can post a link on our Facebook page to a link to a musical from 2016 or one of the new musicals, and we'll do a random drawing for a cool prize. Want to give a shout out this week. We had the pleasure of meeting our two newest Ag Lit coordinators, Melanie from DuPage County and Julie from Pike and Scott. They're our newest Ag Lit coordinators. Also, remember, we've got new materials coming up, specifically the calendar for the next couple of years at a glance, to make sure you have the dates and the times for our upcoming meetings in September, February, and even next May. So check for those in the link. Next week, we finish up our round of Summer Ag Institutes, heading to Rock Island, Lake County, Cook County, and the combined Ag Lit, the Ag in the Classroom Summer Ag Institute in Kendall, Will, and Grundy County. We'll also go to Monroe for a teacher workshop. I'll be on the road to the St. Louis Science Center and also to a conference on specialty crops hosted by the USDA. And don't forget, we have less than 2 weeks. You have less than 2 weeks. July 19th is the due date. Carol's fielding lots of phone calls. I'm getting some emails. If you have questions, make sure you let us know about your grant that's due postmarked by July 19th. Look forward to hearing your musical connections to agriculture on our Facebook page, and we'll see you next week.